Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 4th of July, the first important news, that is India to host virtual summit. Second, Center announces scheme to help minor rape victims. Third, manufacturing growth eased in June. Second last, that is India should refuse America NATO plus bait. And the other editorial, today I'll be discussing two editorial. First is this, and the second editorial from Indian Express, extending Ayushman Bharat. So apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. So the first news of the day, that is India to host virtual SCO summit. Something important for General Studies paper 2, that is the bilateral, regional and global grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. For this year mains, SCO topic is important. Those of you who will be appearing for mains this year specifically, you need to note some of the key and specific point. And for prelims examination also, overall, the concept of SCO functioning and its members are important. So India is all set to host the summit for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization for the first time. That is scheduled for today, that is 4th of July 2023. And this virtual summit will be completed in a single session that have a spillover of 2 hours and close to 2.5 hours. And this will see a remarks from Russia's president and its Chinese counterpart, that is the China's president, and the participations of Pakistan Prime Minister. Now this summit at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is under India's presidency and also set to welcome Iran as a new permanent member of the grouping. Very, very important point. If you are preparing for any other government examination apart from civil services, there can be a direct question asking you the recent joint permanent member country. The correct answer to this will be Iran. Right. Now, India's SCO journey, अगर बात करें इंडिया की क्या जर्नी रही SCO की, India has actually joined SCO in 2005, but the full-time membership in the SCO was given to India in 2017 in the Astana summit. So these two are again a factual, relevant, important point, specifically from prelims point of view. And in the last 6 years, India has been taking an active and positive role in the SCO operations. Definitely, this is something which India has made a commendable progress in the part of the SCO, right? So there can be a question on the journey of the SCO, and if not, if you're writing in mains also, तो आप ये point जरूर highlight करें. The SCO summit in the Samarkand in September 2022, India took over the chairmanship of SCO for the first time from Uzbekistan. So this is again important. There can be a question from which particular country India has taken the presidency. The correct answer to this will be Uzbekistan. Now, India ने specifically theme रखी है SCO की, and the theme is secure. What does the secure mean? Secure call for security, economic development, connectivity, unity, respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, and environmental protection. Very, very important for all the aspirant who will be appearing for mains this year. अगर आप secure लिख रहे हैं तो उसकी full form ज़रूर लिखें. This given positive impact to the examiner. Now, 5 new pillars India ने decide की है, and this 5 pillar focuses on some key and important areas that include the startup and innovation. Second is traditional medicine. Third is digital inclusion, youth empowerment and shared Buddhist heritage. तो ये 5 जो pillars हैं, this is again important and significant for your examination, and even this can be asked in the prelims also. The new mechanism of the SCO Special Working Group on the Startup and Innovations and the Expert Working Group on Traditional Medicine was created at India's initiative. फोकस एरिया की अगर बात करें इस बार की जो टॉक होनी है, जो वर्चुअल मीटिंग है, उसमें क्या फोकस एरिया होंगी. फर्स्ट इज अबाउट द इनस्टेबिलिटी इन अफगानिस्तान. वी हैव सीन that the government of Taliban overtaking the Afghanistan government, but still the stability part is lacking. There's no negotiation, there's no diplomatic involvement from major countries. Even India has abstained from making any negotiation or trade. Ukraine conflict, which is definitely between Russia and Ukraine, which has impacted basically the supply chain of many global important food items, and it has ultimately impacted the inflation in many countries. Boosting connectivity and trade, which is something which is very important, and international border standoff with China, which has continued for none less than 2 years, and after close to 19th level of commander level talk, there still is no way forward to this problem. Now, moving ahead with other news, that is Center announces scheme to help minor rape victims, an initiative that was taken by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Important for Gender Studies paper 2, that is the welfare schemes for the vulnerable section of the population by the center and the state government. So this is an initiative that is definitely going to help people, the individual who has been victim of this. So recently the Women and Child Development Ministries has announced that the central government has approved a scheme that will provide support to minor rape survivors who have been abandoned by their family due to pregnancy, and even no means of support to themselves was given, and these individuals, these minor, were most vulnerable, right? So the scheme for the critical care and support for accessing justice to rape and gang rape survivor, this will be taken care by the ministry itself. The scheme aims to provide the integrated support to the girl's child victim under one roof and facilitate the immediate, emergency and non-emergency access to the range of services. If you see the part of involvement that is done is important at this time, the ministry has specifically looked into the issue. This can be used, what I'm discussing, ये जो scheme है, इसे आप example के तौर पे use कर सकते हैं. This can be used as an example when it comes to women empowerment, and even in the case studies. अगर बात करें Gender Studies paper 4 की, in case studies also you can use this as an example. Now provisions क्या रखी गई हैं schemes के अंदर, how the beneficiaries or the part of the survivor will be benefited under the scheme. The immediate, emergency and non-emergency access will be given to the range of services which include access to educations, police assistance, maternity and neonatal of the infant care, psychological and mental counseling. Now, the legal support and the insurance cover will also be provided to the girl child victim, and the newborn under one roof will enable justice to rehabilitation such as girl child to the victim. Now it will be mandatory for the girl victim to have a copy of first information report to avail the benefit under the scheme. Now fund allocations की अगर बात करें, how and what are the fund, the total number of amount that has been allocated. A fund of 74.1 crore has been allocated under the scheme. The ministry has decided to provide medical infrastructure to financial support such as minor victim under the aegis of Nirbhaya scheme. And we have additionally leveraged the part of administrative structure to Mission Vatsalya in collaborations with the part of the state government and providing child care institutions to actualize the support of minor victim on that particular ground. Now there's some data by the NCRB, that is National Crime Record Bureau, जो sexual assault की cases हुई हैं उसकी data NCRB ने release किया, and it says that 51,863 cases were reported, and under that of the POSCO, which is something close to the part of 33,348 or 64% rise. The cases were from the sexual assault cases. Now, around 99% of these cases were committed against girl. In many cases, the girl become pregnant, bear the several physical and mental concern, with they are further aggravated when they are disowned or abandoned by their families or they become orphaned. Now, the other news, that is manufacturing growth is in June, something important for General Studies Paper 3 means, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. Now, PMI agar index ki baat kare, they have come up with the details part, and it says that the manufacturing sector has seen significant growth in the second fastest expansion with this year. और जो लेटेस्ट डेटा रिलीज की गई है बाय PMI, दिस इज रिलीज्ड बाय एक्चुअली SP ग्लोबल, राइट, एंड रिवील दैट 57.8 जून में जो फाइंडिंग्स हैं एंड साइटली इंक्रीज फ्रॉम डिक्रीज हुई है 58.7 जो मई में थी उससे डिक्रीज होकर 57.8 है, बट अगेन द परफॉर्मेंस इज समथिंग विच इज एप्रिशिएटेबल. The result was slightly below the Reuters poll, which has actually made a conclusion or forecast for 58.0. Now, इन्फ्लुएंस क्या निकाल सकते हैं इस तरह की ग्रोथ से? नोटेबली PMI की अगर बात करें, जो 50 की मार्क होती है, दैट इज समथिंग कंसिडर गुड, बट व्हाट इज द प्रेजेंट वन? 57.8, राइट? तो कंसेक्यूटिवली इंडिया ने अच्छी परफॉर्म की. द सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ इज अ पॉजिटिव साइंस ऑफ इंडियाज मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड इंडस्ट्री शोइंग रेजिलियंस, strength despite the higher inflationary pressures. Now, in this order, there's a sharp decline in the sub indices, that is moderately, and even the foreign demand grew to 15 straight line. These are some of the part, if you can remember, it is well and good, but नहीं भी आपको याद होगा, आपको ट्रेंड पता होनी चाहिए कि क्या परफॉर्मेंस रही, right? Strongly, they have demanded for a strong business confidence, optimism around the business, and even rose around this year. तो परफॉर्मेंस 1 पॉइंट डिक्रीज होकर के बाकी जो ओवरऑल परफॉर्मेंस है, दैट इज गुड. Now, inflation status की अगर बात करें, which is again forecasted, inflation is within the RBI comfort zone and the central bank has left the door open for future interest rate. The RBI has raised 53 when the basic points की बात करें 250 basic point in May, and the repo rate is at 6.50 since April. It has predicted the rate to be unchanged in the next year. RBI has well adjusted the part of the rates, and even some of the rates were not changed to contain the part of the inflations. Now, moving to the first editorial of the day. Today, I'll be discussing two editorial with you. The first editorial, this is the first one, that is India should refuse America NATO plus bait. Something important for General Studies Paper 2 in mains, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. And just to tell you, this is very, very important if you are preparing for mains this year 2023. This is the sure shot question that you can get. और ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि आप नाटो प्लस के कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस को समझे, इंडिया की किस तरह से ऑटोनॉमी इम्पैक्ट होगी. Now, what I'll just make you understand through this article or through this editorial, we'll just see the focus of this article is NATO plus proposal specifically for India, and what are the proposal for India and how India is going to benefit and what are the downside of it. So NATO के बारे में थोड़ा समझेंगे, NATO plus क्या है, how it will help India, India की क्या strategic autonomy impact होगी, कुछ important pointers हैं जो कि काफ़ी ज़्यादा important होगी आपके examination point of view से, and we'll see the bottom line and conclusion part. Now, US Congress Committee, जो Congressional Committee है, that is an important part of the US administration. They have come up with the recommendations और उन्होंने इंडिया के लिए प्रपोजल रखा है that India should be the part of NATO plus to boost the global defense cooperations. At prima facie, it must feel to you that it's a good thing that the proposal is there. बट इस प्रपोजल के क्या क्या नेगेटिव कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज होंगे और इंडिया के ऑटोनॉमी पे क्या इसकी इम्पैक्ट होगी, विल सी दैट. बिकॉज सी, इंडिया हैज़ बीन फंक्शनिंग एज एन इंडिपेंडेंट. जो इंडिया की डिप्लोमेसी है, जो रूल ऑफ लॉ है इन डिप्लोमेसी, इज समथिंग विच इज़ डिफरेंट. एंड नाटो के साथ क्या इंडिया का ज्वाइन करना एक ऑब्लिगेशन हो जाएगा? वी हैव टू सी दैट. एंड आप अगर आंसर्स लिखे मीन्स में तो यू हैव टू मेक अ कंपैरिजन, राइट. So the moves ahead with India, basically ये जो प्रपोजल आई अभी रिसेंट में प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने US विजिट किया, उसके पहले ये प्रपोजल रखी गई नाटो प्लस के बारे में. NATO Plus is a US-led defense-oriented group जहाँ पे 5 members countries की बात की गई है: ऑस्ट्रेलिया, जापान, इजराइल, न्यूजीलैंड एंड साउथ कोरिया. Now, it is seeks to guarantee the territorial integrity as a member by supporting each other in the event of direct attack. अगर किसी कंट्रीज के ऊपर मेंबर कंट्रीज के ऊपर डायरेक्ट अटैक होती है तो ये सारी कंट्रीज मिलकर उनको हेल्प करेंगे. दिस इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट हेल्प, बट अगर कोई डिसीजन भी होती है तो वो कंसेंसस से ही लेनी मैंडेटरी होगी. It would also help India to access to the latest technology as far as military and smooth functioning of military technologies are concerned. Now, NATO के बारे में brief में आपको मैं बताऊं. This is something a military alliance which has 31 countries and majority of the members are from Europe. If you want to check more, you can visit to the NATO official website and check the member country list. Now, the dissolutions of Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War, maybe through the NATO, was as basically lose its relevance. But present context में अगर बात करें, Finland ने भी NATO join किया है and it's 31st member of NATO. This is again an important point. I think most of you must be aware. I have already made a discussion to this. Now, NATO appeared to be getting much needful around the survival thanks to Russia, जिसने यूक्रेन invasions के बाद NATO की importance को और ज़्यादा बढ़ा दी. While NATO's swelling expense, some analysts see the onset of Cold War 2.2. NATO Plus की अगर बात करें, I have told you the member countries that can join is Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Israel, South Korea. That can be the part of the countries. और इस बार जो NATO Plus developed की जा रही है, that is to contain and counter the part of Chinese growing influence, right? NATO Plus की अगर बात करें, it has been officially recognized as a concept, जहाँ पे itself will be discussing on the part of debate regarding the potential expansion of its allies and even to curb the part of the Chinese expansion. The inclusion of this country member would require a complex process, negotiation and assessment. It's not like that the member will be included directly. There's a due process of procedures that will be followed for the inclusions. And while NATO earlier target is that Soviet Union, जो पहले NATO जो फॉर्मेशन हुई थी उस समय सोवियत यूनियन को काउंटर करने के लिए बनाई गई थी, बट अब जो नाटो प्लस बन रही है दैट इज स्पेशली टू कंटेन द पार्ट ऑफ चाइना. Therefore, considering dispute between China and India remain a missing link in this framework. Now, क्या ये एक्चुअल में जो नाटो प्लस की बात की गई है, will this actually help India? This is a big question. So, in light of increasing regional security, India joining NATO plus framework could be a security umbrella with the protections of deterrence against the potential threat. So basically, in light of the overall context, this is something which is overviewed that this will provide protection. But मैं आपको बताऊंगा how it has a negative consequences to it as well. India could also gain access to advanced military technology. These are the positive sides, right? तो ये सारे positive sides हैं of getting into the part of NATO plus. Intelligence sharing platforms and interoperability with the member states. This could potentially strengthen India's defense capabilities and modernization efforts. Now, India की अपनी strategic autonomy है, and this is the downside or negative consequences that India will help with India joining NATO plus, right? So the part first अगर बात करें, the getting into NATO framework will annoy Russia and China. This is something which is very evident fact. Russia कैसा annoy होगी? Because see, Russia is always something which is against NATO. This with Russia ने अपने ओपिनियन में और यूक्रेन में अटैक में भी ये कहा था कि वो ईस्टवर्ड एक्सपेंशन ऑफ नाटो नहीं चाहती, और अगर इंडिया नाटो ज्वाइन करती है एज अ नाटो प्लस तो उसके क्या कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज होंगे, बिकॉज वी हैव अ गुड रिलेशनशिप विद रशिया, और उसके इम्पैक्ट ये होंगे कि जो रोबोस्ट स्ट्रैटेजिक पार्टनरशिप है रशिया के साथ वो इम्पैक्ट होगी. जो रीजनल सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस हैं उसमें रशिया ने एक इम्पॉर्टेंट काउंटर की तरह एक्ट किया है, फेवरिंग इंडिया इन द पार्ट ऑफ चाइना एज वेल. And getting into over-dependent China and the Ukraine war, Russia remain a valuable partner for India. तो रशिया के साथ जो रिलेशनशिप है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट हो सकती है. Now, second is that the US-led alliance system may temper the part of threat posed by China. It could ultimately prove counterproductive and detrimental. However, the policy framework have a limited freedom to India to take action in pursuance of the independent policy on China. तो इंडिया की जो अपनी इंडिपेंडेंट पॉलिसी है वो फिर नाटो प्लस ज्वाइन करने के बाद एक कंसेंसस के साथ करनी पड़ेगी, विच इंडिया would definitely not want it because we do not want hindrance and any interference on our diplomacy. Moreover, when the times to have our own bilateral issues, China's strategic in Indo-Pacific hoping the part of Taiwan strategies under the NATO Plus will complicate India's securities positions, and even the possibilities of China's jurisdictions on the military bill can, along with the India-China border, have a frequent inclusions. So the autonomy of India in a relationship with India and China relationship will be impacted, और जो independent decision making है वो कहीं ना कहीं impact होगी India. Now, third is the traditional maintained policy of strategic autonomy to engage the part of various nations bloc with its own interest. Now, India is functioning with many other countries in terms of bilateral और multilateral relationship की अगर बात करें तो वो अपनी own interest के हिसाब से करती है, but NATO plus के बाद कुछ obligations इंडिया के पास भी रहेंगी, and joining NATO framework will require India to have aligned its defense security policies, objective and strategic, thereby potentially undermining the India's autonomy. Whenever you are writing, make sure you highlight the part of the India's autonomy that will be impacted post joining the NATO plus, right? Now, bottom line or conclusions की अगर बात करें, India's priority in addressing its own dynamic will set on unique challenges and security challenges concerning the border security, especially with China, right? Terrorism and regional conflict. Apart from that, the NATO alliance will have a competence deals with the larger geopolitical agenda from Eurasians to Indo-Pacific, divert resource attentions and then pressing issues, therefore will have a not much help to India. This focus of the NATO framework on containing China and joining it has been a potentially to undermine India's autonomy. Now, moving to the other editorial of the day. This is the second editorial for the day. That is extending Ayushman Bharat, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. तो क्या है इस एडिटोरियल के थीम में? दैट इज इरेडिकेटिंग द पार्ट ऑफ सिकल सेल एनीमिया. ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज कैसे इंपैक्ट हो रही है, विल सी दैट. सिकल सेल की क्या क्या केसेस हैं, अप्रोचेस क्या है गवर्नमेंट की, एंड गवर्नमेंट की क्या इंटरवेंशंस रही हैं. नाउ इंडिया इज अ कंट्री जहाँ पे देयर इज अ डाइवर्सिटी, यूनिटी इन डाइवर्सिटी हैज अ कोर आइडेंटिटी ऑफ इंडिया. और प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने एक मंत्रा दिया था, वन इंडिया ग्रेट इंडिया, राइट? And there have been a continuous effort by the government of India to come up with a part of advanced healthcare facilities. जो सबसे marginalized section of society है उन्हें भी healthcare facilities मिले. यूनियन बजट ने इस बार नेशनल कैंपेन, और उस कैंपेन के नाम है सिकल सेल अनीमिया एलिमिनेशन बाय 2047 की बेसिकली विजन्स रखी है टू इरेडिकेट दिस चैलेंज ऑफ सिकल सेल विच इज मोस्टली प्रीडोमिनेट इन द ट्राइबल एरियाज. तो ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट होती हैं इससे. ऑलमोस्ट 706 डिफरेंट ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज इंडिया में रिसाइड करती हैं, विच कॉन्स्टिट्यूट 8.6% ऑफ द टोटल पॉपुलेशन. द sickle cell disease is a serious health challenge for the India's tribal. The sickle cell is a genetic disorder which जहाँ पे red blood cell distort होती हैं, और जो shape है red basically cells की that got distorted and becomes sickle cell, right? Now the common disease that is found in the tribal areas, the significant threat is there for the future existence in the indigenous populations. तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया फुल्ली कमिटेड है कि किस तरह से जो ट्राइबल पीपल हैं उनको सिकल सेल की जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं उनसे बाहर निकाली जाए एंड मेक इंडिया फ्री फ्रॉम सिकल सेल एनीमिया बाय 2047. सिकल सेल डिजीज केसेस की अगर बात करें अपार्ट फ्रॉम ट्राइबल एरियाज एंड स्टे बेसिकली कन्फाइंड टू दैट, कुछ और स्टेट्स हैं जो इम्पैक्टेड है, राजस्थान, गुजरात, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, झारखंड, वेस्ट बंगाल, उड़ीसा, तेलंगाना, आंध्र प्रदेश, तमिलनाडु, केरला, कर्नाटका, महाराष्ट्र. इसमें हाई प्रिविलेज देखी गई है, बट अगेन दैट इज प्रीडोमिनेटली मोस्टली इन द ट्राइबल एरियाज. The persons suffering from sickle cell have a numerous health problems, including the persistent pain, fatigue means the tiredness, anemia, and significant impact in the quality of life. Approaches क्या है गवर्नमेंट की to eliminate the anemia? So sickle cell anemia की अगर बात करें तो उसके लिए different approaches है. The first approach is to prevent, ensure new cases are not born, and the second approach is to involve managing the treatment, provide adequate healthcare facilities to the affected the diseases part. Comprehensive ecosystem developed की गई है to address the part of the aspects where proper healthcare and management of sickle cell anemia patients should be there. Government के interventions की अगर बात करें, the government has allocated sufficient budget, utilization advanced technology, providing healthcare workers, ensure necessary infrastructure and social awareness to participate and combat of the disease. This endeavor are the result of strong determinations of policy decision आयुष्मान भारत स्कीम की अगर बात करें, द कंट्री हैज एस्टैब्लिश्ड अ नेटवर्क ऑफ 1.6 lakh health wellness center in 2018 and they have played a crucial role in combating the epidemics. और ये सेंटर्स जो है एक सिग्निफिकेंट रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ इरेडिकेटिंग द सिकल सेल एनीमिया. The launch of the initiative will call for eliminations of the sickle cell anemia by 2047, and before that, government will achieve that. The initiative will provide a great strength to fight the sickle cell anemia and eradication of the sickle cell anemia by 2047. Right? So these are some of the important points that you need to note for the editorial part. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. अगर MCQ questions की बात करें, before that I'll be giving you the correct answers for yesterday. The correct option for the first is C and for second it is D. Today's MCQ for practice आपको millet के बारे में बताना है. It's been declared as International Year of Millet for 23, and Asian Africa are the major production and consumptions of the millet crops. Second question is about blue bugging. It's a form of hacking that access device through discoverable Bluetooth connections. Wireless earbud apps are vulnerable to hack. So these are some of the important questions that you need to practice, and practicing a lot more current affair question will give you an added advantage in the prelims and many other competitive examinations. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. If you have query about courses, to reach out to us via call or via our website. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.